October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and one Richmond area organization's mission is to empower and encourage women who've experienced violence by a spouse, partner, or a loved one. The Remember My Name Memorial is scheduled for next Tuesday, and here to share more about all the events coming up, Linda Tashir, CEO of YWCA of Richmond. Linda, it's great to see you.
Well, thank you for having us.
An important month already underway. This is an event series. Tell us about what it's covering.
So one of the things that we like to do at the YWCA is to really provide public education and awareness programming during Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we have a series of 4 lunchtime events which are open to the public and free of charge that are from noon to 1 o'clock down at the YWCA, which is downtown on 5th Street. We already had one. We have another one coming up this week to talk about how legislation impacts domestic violence. We have one at the end of the month on October 26th, which is going to talk about how domestic violence impacts the LGBTQ community. And then the event that you mentioned, Remember My Name, which is next Tuesday, is an event that we hold every year to really honor families that have lost loved ones to domestic violence over the years.
Linda, these programs, especially the memorial, are for folks that maybe have already identified that this is happening, who experience loss, or hopefully who have come out the other end and have experienced change. For everybody watching today who is going through this, is experiencing it, and is saying, am I experiencing it? How do they find the support that they need?
One thing that we do at the YWCA is that we provide a 24/7, 365-day-a-year hotline for anyone who's looking for more information or resources regarding domestic or sexual violence. So whether or not you're the one who's going through it, or whether you know somebody else who might be, or whether you're just trying to figure it all out, you can call that hotline, which is at 804-612-6126, any time of day or night, any day of the week, in order to get more information. And then depending upon what your situation is, we'll get the resources and the information you need, depending upon your situation.
Linda, is this a situation that because we're gaining more awareness and maybe there's an ability to support, it's getting better, or is this changing?
Well, it's hard to know whether it's getting better. I think that one thing that takes people by surprise is just how prevalent it is in our community. So last year alone, 1 out of every 3 homicides was due to domestic violence. We get close to 5,000 calls a year on our hotline. We shelter hundreds of individuals in emergency shelter who are fleeing domestic violence situations. And this is an issue that cuts across every socioeconomic, ethnic, educational background. It doesn't matter. It impacts us all. And so one thing that we try to let people know is that 1 out of every 4 adult women in their lifetime will probably experience some kind of domestic violence, and there is help and there are resources out there for you to get.
And you may be looking at this as a woman maybe who has children, and then that complicates the situation even more so.
Absolutely. One thing that we are doing now that is new is that we are working with the Richmond Police Department on a lethality assessment protocol. So basically what this means is if the Richmond Police are called out on a domestic violence situation, they do an assessment on the spot, and if they feel that that person or those children are in danger of losing their lives, they will immediately call the hotline from there to get help for that person. And just in the first 6 months alone of that program, they were called out on over 600 calls for domestic violence. So if you think about that on average as 100 a month, that's a lot of people that are being impacted by this.
And that's Richmond City.
That's Richmond City, the
Wow.
Richmond Police Department. And fortunately, when they do this assessment, about half of those folks they determine were in imminent danger called the hotline, and about half of them are getting the resources that they need in the follow-up. So we do counseling, we do case management, we do emergency shelter, we do permanent shelter. So there are a lot of resources out there for people who are experiencing domestic violence.
Well, thank you for being with us this morning. It was a 4-event series. One already happened, and there's more coming up. YWCA Richmond is hosting these events. The Remember My Name Memorial is Tuesday, October 18th from 7 to 9 p.m. at Unity of Richmond, 800 Blanton Avenue. Healthy Love for All supportive services for survivors with the LGBTQ community is coming up Wednesday, October 26th from noon to 1 p.m. For all the details, visit us online, WTVR.com/VTM.